honor shall pass.
Hey everybody, Ryan Young here, Coming Jiu-Jitsu. Hope you're doing well.
Wait,
Clap.
now you can do it.
Hey everybody, Ryan Young here, Coming Jiu-Jitsu. Hope you're doing well.
Arm bars or chokes? What's better? Well, they're both submissions, right? And there's also stuff like neck cranks, foot locks, heel hooks, all that kind of stuff, right? You know, there's so many different types of submissions in jiu-jitsu, and that's why jiu-jitsu is so dynamic. You can beat somebody so many different ways. If we're just talking like our typical viewer here, most of the viewers of this channel are probably white belts. We do have a few that might be in the upper belts, but generally white belts. Me, myself, I'll just end the suspense right here. Chokes, 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 all the time. If you give me a choice of what submission to do, it's always a choke. The arm bars happen, or shoulder locks or joint locks, any joint lock that you do happens because you failed to choke them out. Now, why are the chokes better? Well, if I break your arm, guess what? You've got another one, right? You can still punch me, you can still hit me. On the other hand, if I choke you out cold, I can get up and I can walk away and there's no more fight. What if when I'm fighting you, I break your left arm? Okay, but you're right-handed, right? And you're like a Dan Henderson, you know, you've got that one punch knockout thing, right? So I can easily have taken your arm out, but still you end up knocking me out at the end of the day. Perfect example was Roger Gracie versus Jacare. I think that was one of the best jiu-jitsu matches that I've seen in a long time. Roger and Jacare are both, you know, two titans within, you know, titans in their prime that are going at it for the championship. This is a world championship match, and Roger ends up locking up Jacare's arm, and he pops it. Pops it, breaks it, dislocates it, whatever. I don't know however you want to call it. But Jacare didn't tap. So because he didn't tap, the match wasn't over. So Roger, having cracked the arm and knowing that he got it, and he did the right thing in that he released it because he didn't want to further damage Jacare's arm. Jacare says, I didn't tap, which is technically true. So I guess Roger should have just kept trying to break it, right? Based on that. So what happened was the ref says, oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, you stopped and he didn't tap. So technically the match is still going. So then Jacare goes and runs in a circle and just avoids. And time runs out and Jacare is happy. Why? Because he won. He won the world championship. And you look at Roger. Roger's like, you know, okay, you know, I got the silver, but I broke your arm, right? But for that particular reason, it didn't really matter that he got a joint lock on him because he didn't submit to it. On the other hand, if he had choked him out, that would have been the end. Because if he choked him and Jacare did not tap, then Jacare would be sleeping. And then the match would have been over. So I think Roger might have learned something after that, because I think he did, I don't know what tournament it was, maybe it was Abu Dhabi or something. He choked everybody out. Just choked everybody. I think it was like 8 matches in a row, choked everybody out. And there is no question as to who won the match when you choke somebody out. They either tap, and they could say I didn't tap, but you know, that just means that people are just gonna hold it and just make you tap until the ref breaks it up. And when the ref breaks it up, then it's over no matter what. But you know, in a street situation, which is what we operate under, I always tell our students, choke first, right? Only break an arm or break a shoulder or break a joint, any joint, if you cannot choke them out. And once you break an arm, realize that there's a good chance that you're gonna get hit with the other arm. So you may have to break the other one too or choke them out. So in answer to that question, choke or arm lock, which is better, or joint lock. I keep saying arm lock, but just any joint lock in particular. you want to make sure you choke them out. And if you cannot choke them out, then and only then do you go for some sort of joint lock. And then you may still need to go back and choke them out now that they're debilitated, disabled, whatever you want to call it. They're not at full strength anymore. You know, it's funny when I think of that because I think of that stupid Monty Python movie.
Now stand aside, worthy adversary.
'Tis but a scratch.
What Monty Python?
Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
I don't know. The one where it's the white knight versus the black knight?
Yeah.
A scratch? Your arm's off.
No, it isn't.
Well, what's that then?
I've heard worse.
Yeah. And that's kind of just like a metaphor for a real fight where the person who is fighting is just determined and they're not going to give up until they are unconscious, really. And you never know what you're going to encounter on the street. So if you're always training to take arms, then in a street confrontation, you get the arm, but I've seen situations where an arm is taken and the fight continues on.
Victory is mine. We thank thee, Lord, that in thy mercy...
Come on, then.
What?
You know, a lot of times when it continues on, the person who put the arm lock on somebody broke the other person's arm and the other person kept fighting. It's almost like you're supposed to stop when I break your arm, right? But the person didn't stop because maybe the person, you know, knew that their arm was broken but had that adrenaline going through them and they're still strong, they're still powerful. They can ignore the pain up to a certain point and they just hit you with their other arm and then you get knocked out. For your benefit, try and prioritize chokes over joint locks. And so as far as, you know, what you should practice, you should probably be practicing 66% of your time, or rather 2/3 of your time with some sort of choke versus 1/3 of your time with some sort of joint lock. So just kind of think to yourself as a ratio in your head. You know, for every 3 submissions, 2 of them should be chokes. That's just my 2 cents. It's up to you whether you follow it, right? You've got your own coach, or you may be a coach yourself. You may disagree. That's fine. If you do, put in the comment. Let's talk about it. Anyway, be sure to like and subscribe. Hit the bell. Take care now. Bye-bye.
Come on, then. All right. We'll call it a draw.